Wow. Hello.
I don't know what. I don't
That's
know what. I
Kenneth
don't know what
Williams.
I don't know what you're playing at this week. I really
My
do.
best Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Nostrils.
Right.
Wasn't he from up north?
Kenneth Williams.
Yeah.
No, Londoner.
Oh, I thought he lost his accent and he was so proud of losing his accent that he became this posh.
No, he was from down south.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
All right.
Absolutely positive. Right. I want to do something special today. Right?
I want to. It's all about you, isn't it?
I want to give you the dictator test.
Dictator test.
I'm gonna compare you
to Hitler. All right. Sorry.
Now we'll start.
Now
off you go.
All right. Well, how did that start?
You don't start with the Kenneth Williams again.
No.
Maybe I didn't start that because I knew what you were going to do.
I did my best Kenneth Williams impression, which didn't come across very well.
Which were terrible. He seems to think that Kenneth Williams were a northerner.
I'm pretty sure, because I remember an interview with Kenneth Williams, and he said that his dad was a real rough working man, and he told Kenneth, "Why are you talking with plums in your mouth?" That was his version of
Kenneth
Southern accent.
I think Kenneth Williams were born in East End, right? Hang on, I'll tell you. Islington. There you go.
Oh, really? That's my dad's hometown.
Islington. Now, Kenneth Williams' dad were a barber.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Kenneth Williams' dad were a barber.
Yeah.
So maybe that were it. Why you talking with a plum in your mouth?
Okay.
But there were no.
It was probably someone's balls, knowing good old Kenneth.
There were no northerner when it probably had northerners in him, but there were no northern in him.
Oh, a little bit of northern.
But he had it out with Parky once, didn't he? You remember? And Parky got him back on.
A fight?
No. It was going on about Kenneth Williams. Were going out. It doesn't matter what sort of job you have, you should put pride in it.
Yeah.
And Parky were going, fucking bullshit. When you're up north, you've got all these shit jobs. There's people just going into crap jobs, and yeah, and he invited.
You're leading up yourself in a cul-de-sac.
And he invited him back.
Right.
And they had it's online. It's on YouTube. He invited him back, and they had like another show dedicated just with Kenneth Williams. And Parky were saying, "You've got this job. You might not like this acting job, but it's feeding you. It's getting you a roof over your head. There's people up north working in mines and in mills that are just getting by hand by mouth. Why should they put pride in their work? You know?" And it were like, "You go on, Parky."
I'm lost on this class struggle.
Right now,
that you guys have up there.
I am going to find this.
The Dictator's Test.
The Dictator Test.
You had a Dick test last week, and I think the test was
I won that.
You got all clear.
I won
clinic.
it, of course. Right. Okay. Right now, the Dictator Test, because we've got a fucking fella balling in Eastern Europe, which is Putin. Is kicking. Well, he's not knocking the shit. He's getting the shit knocked out of him, isn't he?
Yeah, every which way but loose.
Do you know the saying he's got some sort of blood cancer?
Yeah, but do you believe it?
Well, he's got a puffy face, hasn't he? His face is puffed up.
Look, his name's Putin. We don't need any more lawsuits.
There's him and that Medved. They're walking in the room, and he sort of stumbles a bit, and he has to get hold of the back of a chair to steady himself.
Oh, come on. That sounds like those when Clinton had a cough and then she suddenly had AIDS or something. You can't assume from a little stumble that someone's...
But look at his face. Do you think that's fillers?
Oh, whatever it is, mate. He's probably on all kinds of meds as he's fucked this whole country up, and his situation is as it is. I know there's all these rumours. He's got Alzheimer's. He's got Parkinson's. He's got AIDS. He's got cancer as well. He's on his deathbed, and he's broken his left toe. But at the end of the day, no one knows. And if it had, it wouldn't leak out, because he'd murder his doctors if they'd ever leaked out.
Well, that's what Stalin did, didn't it? Remember, I think Stalin were late 70s, and the doctor said to him, "Look, you've not got long." So Stalin sort of murdered him. The very next day, he murdered him. I can't find this fucking Dictator Test now. The fact, it's your fucking fault, because we had to go and find that if Kenneth Williams were a northerner. Oh,
So that's the main search.
that's ruined it. Now, okay.
All right, here we
So
go.
first
We're off the
question,
races.
First question, right? Most dictators have a ballsed up childhood, right?
Yeah, but that's so is 95% of the world.
Yeah. So let's answer this together after 3. So, is it both parents that were fucked when you were growing up? Is it your mother or your father? I'll go 3, 2, 1, and we'll answer together.
All right.
All right. So you either say mother and father, mother or father.
Can I be quiet?
Oh no, both, mother, father.
I think I got the gist of this this incredibly tough quiz. Yeah, let's go.
Right. Okay. So, which parent? Oh,
Salmon.
Which parent?
3 o'clock.
Which parent fucked you up the most? 3, 2, 1.
Mother.
It's always
Dear old mum.
It's always the mother with these cunts, isn't it?
No, Hitler was his dad. His mum spoilt him, and his dad was an alcoholic prick, beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But in all a loving way, yeah, obviously.
Right, the mother. So yeah.
So
Right.
let's prove that. I'm glad we had this chat.
So,
Is that the end of the test?
well, it's not the end of the test, but it says here, 90% of dictators in the 20th century had a rocky relationship with their mothers. So, if we'd have had the charisma, we could have been getting up to what Putin were getting up to.
Idi Amin.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's start.
There's
right,
more.
Right. Yeah. Ready. Right. What's the worst thing about being a dictator? You have 6 choices. The worst thing, you've killed so many people. You feel threatened all the time. People wouldn't understand you. You'd have to use force against your own people. You'd have to stay in character all the time. It'd feel lonely.
I've forgotten the question. What's the
worst thing about being a dictator? I mean, you're balling like fuck, aren't you? You can bang almost anybody you want, men or women. You got the best
animals.
You got the best car. You can travel anywhere, first class. Best food. You got the biggest house.
Well, looking over your shoulder, is that including in the?
You'd feel threatened all the time.
Yeah, I think that'd be because that's always the closest one will be the one who stabs you.
But the one for number 5, you'd have to stay in character all the time. Do you think these dictators are in character?
Of course not. When the door closes, when the camera's off, they behave like little girls or whatever they would behave as. They wouldn't stay in character.
Right. Okay. What's the worst thing about being a dictator? Right. Next. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm enjoying this quiz. Can we do this next month?
Right. Which one sounds like the best strategy to help a developing country? Ready?
Yeah.
Education, freedom, better foreign policy, stricter laws, focusing on the economy, empowering the military. Now, you've got to think of your dark side. I don't want this fucking, Holland, let's all wank each other off kind of attitude.
Oh, hold on, let's just wank each other off. What have you been reading? What material?
Well, the Dutch, they love it, don't they?
Good Lord.
You remember, you're a dictator, so you don't want to get folk having their own ideas.
No.
So I would say education's out of window. Freedom.
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking balls to that.
No, you're controlling the news, as Putin does very cleverly.
So stricter laws.
Yeah, I mean, stricter laws. So anybody with a radio gets their hand cut off or something.
You go with the hands.
No. I wouldn't go with hands, but I mean, to control your people, you have to control that. So yeah, making new laws.
Well, somebody's going to do it for you anyway, aren't they? How would you describe politics? Complicated and dirty, useless and extra. It's a must for the country, cruel and violent. It's all about discipline and law.
Useless.
It's a good tool to control your people.
I would say it's a good tool. Yeah, the last one, a good tool.
But your politics, it means you've got to have somebody arguing with you.
But
You've got to have somebody across the aisle, haven't
no, but you control that apparently, right? It's a tool to control your people. So the appearance that there is free will.
It's a good tool.
Yeah, it's a good tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like my cousin.
Right. Okay. Right.
How many more questions do we have, by the
20.
way? 20.
Too much, isn't it?
Let's get the best top three. Get the best top three.
Wars are inevitable. Fuck it. I'm answering for you. Right. What views on wars, political career of war? Fuck, I've just answered this. I did this before. As a leader, how would you feel if some of your decisions caused your people to suffer? Ooh. I'd feel bad, fine, puzzled, indifferent, happy, confident. Remember, you can choose who you cause to suffer.
Yeah.
So if you're getting the fellas to suffer, you might have a bit of a backlash. You can't really have the kids suffering, can you? Because the women aren't going to nail you then, are they?
What a lonely job this is.
Yeah.
And very particular. I think as a good dictator, you have to be indifferent to it.
Okay.
You're not supposed to mind it.
Right. What makes a person a true dictator? Cruelty, cowardice, stupidness, traumas, decisions, ideologies.
Got
to be cruelty, hasn't it?
No. Well,
would you feel more?
That's a byproduct.
Would you be more comfortable kicking a dog or a child?
Both at the same time. Just
well.
in the face.
If I put a puppy in front of you, and
it's not a question.
And a snotty nosed street kid.
Do I know the street kid? Has he been thieving?
No. Whose head would you take off first? With your foot?
Well, is the kid? Is he crying? Is he noisy?
Well, you got to shut him up, haven't you?
Is he wearing like shitty clothes?
Well, you're a dictator. You get him stripped off before you start booting him. Where's the fun in that?
No, I don't find that a relevant question, but I think it would have to be decisions.
Decisions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. The others are all byproducts.
Living in a dictatorship can actually benefit its people. Fuck it, I'm answering that. See, this is... What would be your priority if you were the leader of a nation? Health, military, foreign politics, ideologies. Let's focus on this shit. I thought we'd have comedy gold. I thought we'd have comedy gold.
Well, so often when you think, oh, this could be hilarious, this joke that I'm going to tell later on, and it just turns out to be horrible. Wrong things that work in your mind always work.
Now, all right.
Yeah.
Here's the question: what would you be doing different if you were Putin?
From what he's doing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah
you've already gone in. You've already gone in, and you're like, oh fuck,
damn it, blast.
Fucking hell.
How to save face?
What are you gonna do? The cunts like him don't realise they've made a mistake, so he's not gonna.
No, but he'll think about how to minimise the damage, which.
I don't think he's seen any damage, is he?
Of course he has. He knows that countries will not deal with him after this. He'll have to either go in front of the camera and say, "Hey, sorry guys, I just messed that completely up. All right, let's get on with business." Pretend it never happened.
But what does he do? Does he go, oops?
No, there is no way to get out of this. So whatever way he does, if he does save face by saying, "Yeah, I've done what I came to do here. Now we're all going to withdraw, and that's that. Now let's get on with the world again."
And he keeps Donbass.
Yeah, even that, or just he keeps the regions that he kept from before, and hopes the world will get on with him. I don't think the world will trust that. They can't let that go. They can't.
Do you think there'll be a coup?
Well, that's a likely scenario. I mean, he's killed pretty much his intimate circle, so to speak. It's hard to penetrate his intimate circle, I've heard.
Well, I think he's such a tight ass. I don't think the way that he keeps people away from him, because his wife's been got with these sanctions, hasn't she? And his girlfriend.
Yeah, the gymnast.
Yeah, when he got divorced from his wife, he I think he bought the most expensive house in the south of France.
The wife.
Yeah, and it's like, how can he afford that? People say, well, he's a politician, a Russian politician. How can he afford that? Wake up, motherfuckers!
Yeah, that massive palace he owned that was.
They say, it's not mine.
Yeah.
Whose is it?
Yeah, I bet you're welcome there anytime
Yeah.
you want. Yeah, that miss it. But do you think he must have been sleeping around while he was married? Obviously, that woman, just for appearances, to shut her up.
Was she a rhythmic gymnast?
No, the wife.
Yeah.
Oh, was she a rhythmic gymnast as well?
No, the wife won't, but the girlfriend is.
No, but just shut the wife up. Here's a house in France and a credit card, unlimited access, so away you go.
Yeah.
But you must have been screwing around before that. You don't think he did?
Yeah, well, I think he did. Yeah. But you think he's just some low-level KGB fella.
Oh, yeah, those days.
That has planned his way. Now, when Wall came down, I were in Germany at the time.
I were in Nam.
So he were in Dresden, Leipzig, I think. And he were there when Wall were coming down, and he were burning all the Stasi stuff. Because then there were these Eastern Germans at the door trying to get, so he were burning it all. And he took some back with him to Moscow. But he were looking over the wall, seeing it get knocked down with rage. And I just like to think, because I was there, I pissed him off a little bit.
You had something to do with it?
Yeah. So
it's your fault, really, this Ukrainian war.
Sorry.
Apologise to the world.
But yeah, he went back. But I mean, he's just a little short ass, isn't he? Stephen Colbert said it best. He said, if he were just a couple of inches taller, none of this would have happened. If he were, I think he's 5'6", isn't he?
I don't know. No one's going to stand there. Hey, you little short ass.
If he'd have been 5'9", I mean, they're all short asses, these fellas that cause all the bother, aren't they?
I don't know. So you got Hitler and you got
Napoleon.
Putin. Napoleon wasn't short.
He was.
He was not. That's
5'6".
a rumour. That's a rumour.
5'6" were normal in his time.
Oh, well then so he was normal at that time.
But he was short ass.
Yeah, compared to now.
And he was French, wasn't he? Fucking hell. So
just a rumour spread by the British to make it sound inferior.
Have we had any dictators, the Brits?
Well, Thatcher.
Yeah. But she got other people to do her bidding, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, Oliver Cromwell, I'd call that a dictator.
Warts and all. Yeah, he were doing shit in Ireland.
Nasty bit of work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know, but just his Puritan crap. Getting rid of all.
What about the Dutch? The Dutch don't seem to piss anybody off, do they?
Well, I mean, we've been ruled by Napoleon and by Hitler, and got out of the First World War because we're heavily related to the Emperor, to the Kaiser. Dictators. Well, dictators like 500 years ago, would you consider that a dictator? Because they were ruling pretty hardcore, right? Kings and queens early on, Elizabethan time. There's not really any freedom in terms of you can't go say I don't agree with this and you have your head chopped off.
But nobody knew any better, did they? They just dealt with it.
Yeah, I know, but that could be considered today as a severe dictatorship. There's no democracy or free will. Your property, in fact.
But when the Italians, the Romans went off, didn't they? And they the buffers up in Russia, didn't they? The Russians weren't having any of it. They just sorted out the Mediterranean, and they didn't seem to spread much out from that, did they?
Well, not so much Eastern, no. Balkans, and
there's the Balkans. There's some hardy people up there, isn't there?
Well, there's still that nature and environment and weather that makes people as rough as nails.
Yeah.
All through the ages.
Yeah, when you're living through that winter in Eastern Europe, I've had a winter in Eastern Europe. Fucking Jesus Christ!
And it bites through your skin.
I mean, Latvia was -22, and when you got down to Budapest and into Belgrade in November, December, it were -1, and you're like, oh, thank God. And it were -1. But yeah, Latvia and Estonia in November and December, it's fucking biting. And those fuckers just walk around in it as if it's, nothing.
It makes you sturdy, makes you battle ready. You're not going to be taken over by someone without a bit of a battle.
I mean, are there any warrior nations that grow up close to equator? There's not, is there? I think you've got to be from. It's the Vikings and all that lot. So it kind of gets softer the hotter it gets.
Yeah, you tend. Well, yeah. I mean, land gets more available. You don't have to fight that much for water and for growing. Yeah, the Norwegians. I mean, that whole area. They once the population grew, you either had to get new land or you're going to starve. So you get pretty desperate.
But they went over, and they were in Iceland, and then they colonised Iceland, and they went over to Greenland. Greenland is only called Greenland to trick the Norwegians to go over and colonise it. Because it's called Greenland. It's full of farming land, and they got there and like, what the fuck? That's the only reason it's called Greenland. Just a big lie. So even the top brass back then were lying to the people.
But the Vikings is an incredible history. They went down to Paris and down to the south.
Yep.
Really
They reckon that they were over in North America well before Columbus.
I reckon they found enough material to make that a fact. Yeah.
But the first inkling we had of the Vikings were when they wrapped up on Lindisfarne. Do you know, in the northeast of England, just a bit north of Newcastle, there's an island with a monastery on it, a bit like Mont Saint Michel.
Oh yeah.
And the Vikings racked up there, and all the monks go out and have a look. What's this? They'd never seen anything like this before. Next thing you know,
arrow on face.
There is fucking these men on the beach running at them. So they're going out all peace and love, and they just get hacked down.
Yeah.
So they get into Lindisfarne Monastery, rob everything, and fuck off.
It's a raid.
Yeah.
A raid. Yeah.
But then they came in up the Humber and colonised York. They were in York for years. Yeah.
Yeah, those TV shows are pretty interesting to see how they settle down and then became farmers. And
I think that's where all the blonde hair came from in England. I were as blonder than you when I were a kid, so I'm guessing there's some raping being gone on in my past from the Vikings.
Oh, I thought it just that's the end of the sentence in your past. I was very drunk, but there's some raping going on. My God,
some raping and pillaging. Because pillaging kind of gets the back seat, doesn't it? And pillaging, I think, is worse than raping.
Wow, you're really sacking a whole city. I mean, that's just
destroying it. You're nicking everything, and then you're burning it down.
Yeah, plus all the food's gone, so those people will starve.
But what do you think's the worst, the raping? Would you prefer to be raped or pillaged?
What are these questions today? Would you have a hammer in the face or
your arm chopped off? It's Dictator Talk.
I'm on the option.
We're on Dictator FM, coming in your ears. Raped or pillaged?
Hands or nose? Would you like your nose cut off or your hand cut off?
I think nose.
I don't know. That's a.
You can fashion yourself something, couldn't you?
What,
like Mr. Potato Head, you could put something there. But with your hands, you can't. If you've got no hands.
Oh, I see. You're choosing your hands. Well,
I'll keep my hands.
One hand.
Both hands to detect my nose and my ears.
Oh, God. All right, that's that question done.
But the Belgians, your next door neighbours, what they got up to in Congo?
Yeah, that's where all the hands and noses come from. I think. Yeah.
He were a wicked old fucker, wasn't he?
Leopold, yeah, that scumbag.
And why are all statues?
I think most of them taken down.
Did Belgians know what he were up to?
No, I don't think that they'd spray that. Hey guys, look what we're doing over there. No, they just tell the good news that land's been taken and we're winning and you know, we're educating these people.
What did they have to get a quarter of to bring back? And if they didn't get it, they got an hand cut off, didn't they?
I don't know those. I mean, I've actually seen pictures on the net of just these soldiers looking so proud next to this pile of hands. I think, Christ.
But that was just at the dawn of photography as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's there. Yeah.
Damn. But back then, that was just the norm, wasn't it?
Pretty brutal days, yeah. Yeah, but it was brutal at home. I mean, at home in your neighbourhood, there's forced labour. You work. What is it? I think Belgium. I read that the other day. Belgians worked 72 hours a week
Doing what? What's the fucking industry in Belgium?
Well, it's similar to you guys. There's pits, there's mining, there's fishing.
In Belgium?
Yeah, all over. Turf, we call it, like a kind of
peat.
Peat, yeah, peat. Yeah.
Peat bogs.
Yeah, and that not good for you. Imagine doing that 72 hours a week for pittance, going home, and then just miserable lives.
Yeah.
There's no nice life for anybody.
The weather's not nice around there either, is it?
That's just absolute crap. And so if you hear, well, in the Congo they're killing some locals, Christ, my life's shit here as it is. I don't give a toss what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're working 29 hours a week, I think, in that area, and you're outraged by these historic facts.
But you will see the kids working in sweatshops and you'll still buy them Nikes.
Yeah, iPhone.
Yeah. No, people don't give a fuck. People don't give a fuck.
Well, out of sight, out of mind, right? You know that the slaughterhouse is making your pork chops, but if you want to take a look, you will not eat pork chops for a couple of months if you see how that's made. Same with a sweater, Uniqlo or whatever. Go to Bangladesh and have a look at that.
I was saying this to my kids, sausages. So I was saying, you've got to kill a pig to get a sausage. And Sophia just said, "Yeah, I love sausage, but I don't want to think about that."
Yeah. Well, that's the majority of humans, I think. Yeah. I want these shirts. I want these shirts, but I want them cheaper than that. Come on, I want them cheaper. All right. Well, you want them cheaper. That's what you're gonna get. People, you're gonna get the kids who take a wage cut. They'll be actually almost paying to work.
Anything that you're wearing that's cheap, if you look in that tag in back, it's not from a first world country, is it?
No, it'll be the usual suspects with the usual nastiness.
I were getting Sophia and Jean. I said, right, just have a look at your clothes. Where are they made? And it's Vietnam, China, and we found Honduras.
Yeah, right.
So they must be getting cheap shit from there as well. Mm. But if they didn't do it, how would they make the money?
Yeah, that's the whole argument. Well, sell their bodies, certainly. Organ harvesting.
There's that thing in China, isn't there? The Uyghurs, they're taking kidneys and all sorts on.
Well, if it's true.
Did you hear them stories when you first went to Bangkok? You'd get a tuk-tuk and the fella would say, "I'll give you it cheap, but I've got to take you to these shops." And there'd be jewellery stores.
Right.
So you'd go in, you'd look round, no, get back on it. And did you ever get that stuff?
Yeah, I got that in India,
Yeah. Well, apparently, I don't know if it's an urban myth, but they went to this jewellery shop and they were sort of entertaining, and the fella said, "Oh, yeah, have a drink, you look hot." So they drank this water. Next thing you know, both of them wake up in this little shitty hotel and they've had a kidney taken.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true. It's such a horrible story that it's the nightmare scenario of any backpacker. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So with Putin, is he sick?
No.
Dementia?
No.
Blood cancer?
No. I mean, the guy's... Oh, hello.
What's with puffy face then?
Well, whatever. He's under stress. He's getting old. That's the way he puff up anyway.
Was he 61?
He's not, is he?
His 60s.
60s?
Yeah. What do you think he is?
I don't know.
Have a guess before you look. I'm saying 61.
68.
69.
68.
Between 61 and 69. Maybe 69.
He's 69, yeah.
When's he 70?
October 7th.
Do you think he wants to get it done before he's 70?
Possibly. He wants to go into history books. Basically, I just think he thought he'd get away with it, and he hadn't. Well, didn't expect this backlash, and now he's stuck with all these
he's done the
problems.
Complete opposite, because Finland are jumping on the NATO bus, aren't they?
Yeah,
and so are Sweden.
Yeah.
So he's fucked up, hasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't see this coming. He's made a judgment call out, and that's the way it goes around, right? So what happens now is at the end of that, he can't get out of it. So either he's killed by his own people because they want to continue their previous way, and all the gas and electricity and all the oil will come back through the Russians, but in a different way. That'll save a lot of stuff for Europeans as well.
But they've said they cut off the electric to Finland, haven't
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But Finland have gone, oh, well, no problem, because we can use our own now.
Yeah, I think the Swedes provide them with most. But that's wait till next winter. We'll be seeing a different tune if it doesn't pick up.
But that's a big border with Finland, isn't it?
Yeah, but the number of people in Finland, how many people live in Finland? What is it, 4 million, 5 million?
5 or 6, yeah.
How many are living on that border? It's not.
No.
It's not. No,
I've never been. I've never been to Finland.
Huge country, tiny population. Yeah, big border, 1,300 kilometers apparently.
Yeah, so they'll be across there. I don't think he'll go into Finland, will he?
No.
I think he's having so much bother in Ukraine that he doesn't have enough bodies to get into Finland.
Plus, all these soldiers are trying to get out of it now. They want to leave, the Russian soldiers.
The best thing about him having bother in Ukraine is China's looking at that, going, "Ooh, Taiwan might be a bit."
Yeah, it might backfire on us as well.
Yeah.
Backlash. Do you see that battalion that was wiped out on the river there 2 days
Where?
ago?
In
Ukraine.
Oh yeah, they blew all bridges up, didn't they?
Yeah, and they were swimming, and then the whole battalion's apparently is done, almost 1,000. Yeah.
But with the supply chain that they couldn't get them to, they had all these gains early on, and then they couldn't get the fuel to them, could they? So that's why it stopped.
Yeah, but that's their trick. That's how Hitler and Napoleon. That's how they got done, and now they're falling into their own trap.
Yeah. Did I say this before? But
yes.
In between winter and spring, it's called the mud season. And it's worse than winter, because as soon as you get off the roads, that mud is like glue. And it's just bogging everything down, so that they can't get tractor vehicles through it. And his generals were so fucking scared of him that they didn't tell him this. Wait till spring if you're going to do it, or wait till summer. But they didn't tell him this, and that's... So it's like nature's played its part for him.
Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen next then? Going to drop a nuclear bomb?
I think that'll be inevitable.
A nuclear bomb?
Yeah, I think so.
In Ukraine?
I don't know about the Ukraine. I think it's going to go a bit further west than that, maybe Germany.
What?
Yeah.
Drop a nuclear bomb on Germany?
Whoever is standing up to him the most, I think he'll just go, oh, fuck you. I think that's right.
And he'll be allowed to do it, you reckon?
Well, he won't be allowed to do it, because then he'll get the full force, won't he?
No, but I mean his own side. Well, when he presses that button isn't just. It is actually connected to something else. Not just a hole in the wall.
I think that Putin has sorted all that out, so he is the one and only.
Well, that's the end of the world then. That'll be it.
Well, then, yeah. Why not?
And so will we. We'll get one from Tokyo.
It'll be quick.
Well, what should we do?
Wouldn't you want it there?
What do you want to do?
Nothing
then?
you can do. Would you want it to be quick, or would you want it to be slow?
So what if we get the 20-minute warning? With 20-minute warning, Tokyo's going to be obliterated. We're going to be in that same blast. What would you do?
I would nail my wife.
Or anybody's wife. What
would you do?
I think I just want to be together. You want to be together with your missus. Yeah. I think I'd nail her. I think I just have a glass of wine together and hug and kiss or something. I don't know, but it wouldn't be your raping, nailing, pillaging atmosphere.
If the alarm went off now, you wouldn't hug and kiss me, would you?
No, I'd be quickly on the bike back home. But so would you, right?
I don't think I'd be able to make it in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. So you just rape someone on the street.
Well, I don't want to rape someone on the street. What if you do that and it's just a false alarm?
That would be slightly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Not to mention
slightly embarrassing.
Very illegal.
I think the woman that I'm raping and false. Oh, sorry about that, love.
I just fell.
I just fell into.
I had one of my episodes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think China's going to be coming of it ill soon. I think they'll do Taiwan because they've got a grip on Hong Kong now with this new fella. They'll go into Taiwan if they can, and then they'll come for South Korea, and then us.
Christ, what are you reading?
Huh?
Where do you get these ideas from?
Well, this is what happens, isn't it?
When does it happen?
China's looking at what's happening in Russia.
Yeah, and it's going so well, they're going to copy
seeing what he's doing wrong, and they're sort of, right, we don't want to do that, and that.
And they're still going to invade?
Oh, yeah. I think it's
based on
inevitable.
Well,
they're getting too big for the boots, and they've been shit on for years of the Chinese, haven't they?
Yeah, but they need to be shat on.
But they're coming back now.
But all their economy would implode, all their customers, all those countries that would turn their backs.
Russia's done it, but they seem to be.
But they didn't expect that. They didn't think that would happen. I think they thought they'd be left alone.
Why aren't the Russian people rising up?
Yeah. Well, to scared shitless. I read it the other day as well. People say, 80% of Russians support the war. I think, well, how are they being asked that question? Being asked that question by people saying, well, okay, now, we know where you live. You're on 23 Stalin Street. Now, tell me, are you happy with President Putin? Oh, yeah, very happy. Very happy, thank you very much.
But the young people, the people in the 20s, they've got no Google Pay, they've got no Netflix, Instagram's down, no Facebook. They can't do any of that shit.
And you're telling me 80% still supports the war?
No, I think they're young. Because it's what happens, isn't it? Young people are just looking up at these fucking middle-aged old men, old white men, just causing all the bother. And then they think, well, in a few years' time, we're going to be in charge, we won't do that.
So if you think there's if there'd be an anonymous way, which there isn't, but if there'd be an anonymous way to ask people in Russia, do you support this war? Do you want to stop it? Do you want to get out? Do you agree with the president? I think it'd be 90% people say, well, get this prick out.
Yeah.
Put somebody else there, or have him stopped or murdered.
They're frightened to death of him, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they are. I'd be. If someone comes to me and says, are you happy with him? Absolutely. Well, he's my man.
Look at Saddam.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Now, is Saddam and his two sons, that Uday, the madman, even Saddam were going, well, I can't let this fucker take over. So it was the older kid that were going to take over. But that young one, what a fucking prick he was.
Sadistic piece of shit, that
one.
Yeah, I remember him. Do you remember this football team? And he'd come in with a baseball bat, beat his own football team because they lost.
Well, when they lost, he used to put them in these caskets, these like trunks, and just lock them in there for days. Yeah.
Do you know that? There's a film of a bloke who looked like him. You see that film?
It's on YouTube, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh man, that is a killer of a film.
And I think he
that's a true story.
It's a documentary, yeah. And I think he said something that were a little bit off colour. So he got locked up for 2 weeks and tortured.
Well, there's so much stuff that in that documentary, because he escapes. He lives. Yeah. He escapes to Lebanon or somewhere.
He got to the border. He said, I got to the border, and the security was saying, you can't leave here. And he just looked up at him, and he used his lookalike. He said, do you know who I am? Oh, sorry, sir. And they just waved him through. And he says it were the only time that he got a positive out of it. But when that Uday shot Saddam Hussein's friend and bodyguard, yeah, they were having a party, and this Uday were pissed. And Saddam's friend came in and said, look, keep it down, we want to get some sleep. And he just pulled his gun out without saying it and just shot him in the head. So Saddam obviously found out about it, locked his own son up in prison and said, do what you do to normal people, and got his own son tortured.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that went on there. Yeah. But he had elections and he'd win them by 95%. Now, that's not even weird. The weird thing is, well, who's the 5% who voted against him? Those are the brave people.
Well, they're gone. but when he got into power, there were a lot of his government that were planning a coup to get him out, and he got the list of the people who were doing it, and he switched off all the air conditioning in the parliament, and then he said, right, whoever's names get called out, you stand up.
Yeah, that's a famous bit on YouTube.
And he's just sat there laughing, isn't he? And what I didn't know, I thought they all got killed, but apparently they were taken out, and 50% of them were killed by the other 50%.
Yeah.
had to kill him.
That's genius. That's a dictator, because now you got your own people to be accomplices in your life there. So you got them on your side, because they've just killed the other half.
And then the shit scared.
Yeah.
The shit scared.
Yeah. Every time the name is called out, everybody else starts cheering louder and louder, hoping it's not going to be them.
Yeah.
That's a famous bit on YouTube. It's historic. Yeah.
But then were he 20 years? He was in charge.
Longer, I think, in total.
Yeah.
Probably longer.
Because I remember going back and back and back. That super gun he were trying to.
Yeah. Out of Sheffield.
Yeah. Us Yorkshire folk were sort of supplying him.
I remember there was a train that looked a bit like a long tube, but they sprayed on. This is not a super gun.
But yeah, he got it. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to get away with all that shit. But
well, lots of people are. Lots of people are getting away with that shit.
Gaddafi, he just turned out to be a caricature, didn't he?
That man. Nasty ending, a knife up your anus. That's not a nice way to go.
He had a knife up his ass, and then they got his gold gun and they shot him up the ass, didn't they?
Something like that. Yeah, it was a very brutal ending. Yeah.
But he was saying when they collared him, he's going, for what I've done for you in this country.
Come on, brothers.
What?
We're all brothers. What are you going to say?
Yeah.
You're going to say, yeah, you got me. Shoot me up the arse.
But yeah, I mean, he had that harem, didn't he?
He had that Swedish masseuse with the big tits who'd massage him every day.
But the women that he had his own guard, and they were all women.
Right.
And if he put his hand on the shoulder, his bodyguards would sort of usher him off to one side, and then they'd be in his bed at night.
Mm.
So he'd be banging them all. And then one of his sons, Gaddafi decided that one of his sons were good at football. They ended up at Bologna or somewhere like that. They were in Syria.
Really?
And they were saying, you must play him. And he was shite. But I think he actually played a few minutes in a Syria game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
I think Gaddafi put so much pressure on Italy
Have him play.
that one of his sons actually got to play in Syria. And they were garbage.
Well, what's the chance of him being a great player?
But when you can blow shit up, blow a plane up over Scotland, and kind of get away with it. That other fella got done for it, didn't they?
Well, the bloke who had cancer sent someone over who has cancer.
So he got cancer, so he got out of that Scottish jail, and when he landed in Libya, he sort of come off the plane like Fred Astaire, didn't he? Clicking his heels.
Yeah, not all dictators make it out safely, but I think most of them do.
Idi Amin got out. Well, he had to see his days out in Saudi Arabia.
No, but you're talking about famous ones. Well, dictators, I think most of Africa has dictators ruling there, and we don't know their names. They're not that famous.
Pol Pot got away with it, and then he got tracked down, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And then, he died. Because I think somebody throttled him.
What?
Yeah. Pol Pot was tracked down after what he got up to in 80s, wasn't it? 80?
Yeah.
Kim Wilde made a song called Cambodia. And then off he went, and he wasn't found. And then in early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe the 10s, they found him. And then the police were at the gate. Oh no, he died a few days ago.
Yeah.
And they dug him up, got the DNA, and it were him. But they reckoned he'd been strangled.
That's possible.
Who else? So Pol Pot got away with it. Were Ho Chi Minh a dictator?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, what constitutes for you as a dictator? A man who controls power,
The
military and the civil.
It was a bit of a cunt with it.
A bit of a cunt. Who doesn't tolerate any free speech, nor any opposition. Like you could say that the Chinese president now is a dictator.
Oh yeah, well he's in for life, isn't he now?
But is he? Would you say he's a dictator?
I don't know, because his people seem quite happy, don't they?
What do you mean? His people seem happy. The Chinese?
Yeah.
Well,
they're very patriotic, aren't they?
Happiness doesn't have much to do with. the people are controlled. Information, definitely. A man who has control over the military and over the civil service. So that's parliament and military. Well, that's what he has. That's a dictator.
I don't know. I've visited dictatorships, and the people are very friendly. You've visited a dictatorship, haven't you?
Trying to think quickly now.
I went to Burma. Well, I mean, Burma is now, but I went to Burma when fucking 2007, and the military were fucking. That place was locked down in 2007. It was the new capital opened. End of March 2007. I went up there. Stank of paint. It was brand new. Right in the middle of the jungle, because I thought the Americans won't see it, won't find us here. Google Maps. There you are. Hello.
Yeah.
They took everything out of Rangoon and just put the capital city. They just said, all right, capital city's in the middle of the jungle now, and Rangoon were going to rack and ruin when I got there.
South Korea was a dictatorship until 1980.
But look how they've turned it around.
Yeah. Yeah, look at what do you mean? That's one of the worst countries to live now. South Korea, the pressure, the highest cost for education, rent out of control, people, the pressure, work. They work the most in the world.
The last time I was in Korea, we had an overnight before we flew out to the Philippines, and it was December because we'd gone at Christmas, and it was freezing, because Seoul is quite cold in the winter, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a very blue sky up
and
there.
There were a lot of homeless people in subway, and even in the subway it were cold. So I don't know what they were doing there, but they'd got proper mattresses. I don't know if they were provided, but they've got proper mattresses in subway and really, really thick quilts. Ooh, that looks a bit rough. But it was that cold that you'd go from one place, one building to another building. You'd be out in the street for about 5 minutes, and I'd have warm clothing on, and I'd be, oh, that's enough of that. Let's get inside. It was that cold.
Yeah, that's a pretty cold neck of the woods. Yeah.
So
nice
you prefer to be here than Korea?
Yeah, hell yeah. The only place I'd prefer to be, if would be Japan, would be in Taiwan.
I do like Taiwan.
It's one of the greatest places to live.
It's a good place to visit.
Yeah, that really is nice. Yeah, for holiday and to live. I've met many people who lived in Japan, many foreigners who live in Japan and also live in Taiwan. They said, yeah, that's a pretty even Stevens kind of deal. And otherwise, I'd be in Indonesia, which is a great place to live. But then that's a totally different type of kettle of
Would
fish.
you be in Jakarta?
No, my God, that's the worst city in the world. That's
Sinking and all, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they've got a new capital in Borneo, in Kalimantan.
But the
Next year
mainland?
they'll open next year, I think, their new capital. Yeah. Can't remember the name now.
Is it a dictatorship? What is it, Widodo?
No, I don't think that's be a dictatorship, no.
Is he in charge, though, isn't he, that Widodo?
Yeah.
That's it. Were it that mental? I know there was something that happened in Singapore, but there were another fella, wasn't there? A Brit with learning difficulties that got caught with drugs. And he's
in Singapore, in
Indonesia.
He was shot?
He were home, yeah.
Oh.
Because that bloke, is Singapore a dictatorship?
Singapore, no, I wouldn't call it a dictatorship.
It is. I mean, it's a nice place. You've got to abide by the rules there. But fuck me, if you step out of line there, you're fucked.
Yeah, but that's you pay a high fine. You get a whip or one of those cane things.
Because they just murdered that fella there, aren't they? A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He were on death row for 10 years, and it was slow, but he thought he was going home for his dinner. He had no sense of time. He'd only thought he'd been in there for a week. And he said, right, I want to get home to my mum, can I go now? And they took him in a room and said, yeah.
But that happens in America?
Yeah, but you don't get hung for it, do you? You don't get hung for drug trafficking.
No, you don't. No, but in America, that has happened. People have got the death penalty who were not upstairs.
That woman who Charlize Theron played her, didn't she? In Monster.
Oh yeah.
There was something wrong with her, and they got shut of her, didn't they?
Did she get death penalty?
Yeah, they killed her. She's dead now.
Oh.
Yeah, she was, and the way that Charlize Theron did it, she looked exactly like her, didn't she?
Yeah, that was one hell of a makeup job.
Because she slammed the weight on.
Yeah.
And yeah,
God, she was ugly.
She's one of the most beautiful people on
yeah,
the planet.
It's hard to make someone that ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real makeover job. Well, we kind of come full circle, eh?
Dictators. I think I'm
like them or love them.
I apologise for that fucking quiz. I thought it'd gone a lot better, but this is what I'm working with.
Yeah, it's my fault, really.
You're not a good sidekick. Right.
Simon's sidekick.
That would be 2 podcasts in 2 weeks. Are we on a roll? Do I see you next week?
Maybe. It depends. I might go to Tokyo next week.
All right. All right. Well, we'll see you when we see you.
Ta-da.
Oh, episode 71, this, you know.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right. Bye.